The magic of childhood play is all around us today. What an amazing place to be, surrounded by beautiful trees, as well as the sounds of children's laughter, their cries of joy, and just all of their smiles as well. I'm Steve Callaway, Hillsboro Mayor, and welcome to this month's edition of Community Conversations. Normally we're inside our Civic Center in our chambers, but today we are here at Hidden Creek Park West in Hillsboro's newest inclusive park.
I love this park. The setting is wonderful. There's so many different surfaces for all the kids to play on of all different ages. It's safe, but provides enough activity and daredevil stuff that they can do.
I like about these dead ends, and you get to find a way out.
It's awesome park. My kids really like it. We came here every week and she's having so fun.
It's wonderful. I've never seen anything like it. Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, older kids, younger kids, all kinds of abled kids, and disabled kids, it's great. Yeah, I can see it. Everything's being used today, and it's not even the weekend.
I think it's great for our students. We have one in a wheelchair, and I think it's going to be great for, as you can see, it's going to be great for him.
Hillsboro's earned a reputation as having some of the best parks and playgrounds in the Northwest. And the addition of Oro and this entire park adds to that reputation and cements us as a new destination for people to come. So thank you for joining me today. We have Jen Lindamann, who's the mother of two elementary school-aged boys at Orenco Elementary School and was a part of the team of community members that helped design this project. We have Laurie DeVos, who is the City of Hillsboro Parks and Recreation Department's project manager. And Laurie, you oversaw the planning, design, and construction of this whole beautiful park facility. And we have our city manager, Robby Hammond, and thank you for all of your behind-the-scenes work to prioritize this fully inclusive park and secure funding needed to build it. So there are a lot of wonderful things about Hidden Creek Park West, but I would love to know from each of you, what is your favorite thing about this new park?
I hate to state the obvious, but nothing can compete with Oro. He is just an amazing feature of this park. He's the focal point of this park, and that has to be my favorite. But my second favorite is that my kids can come here and play for hours and hours and never get bored. Day after day, there's always a new adventure waiting here for them.
And that's great for them. But it's also nice for you as their mom, just that they can burn off all kinds of after school and weekend energy.
Yes, it's a one time I can actually sit in the shade and relax.
Nice.
So it's very nice.
Laurie, you've been intimately involved in this project since day one. What is your favorite thing about this park?
I would have to say at this point, my favorite thing about this park is just how much the community has really embraced it. I have been out here almost every day since it's opened, and every time I'm out here, there's just so much joy and enthusiasm, and people are already making all sorts of wonderful new memories here. So it's just fantastic to see.
Robby.
Yeah, I would also add it's tough to beat Oro. But I would also say that there's really something for everybody, for kids of all ages, all abilities here. Everybody can come here and find something that really kind of piques their interest and gives them a chance to play and have fun. So that's my favorite part.
And I will just, join in and offer, we've been here with our grandkids, and just to be able to watch them play in new ways with new people, with new structures, has just been so fun. And the new memories then that come from that are, unique to us, but I'll tell you, they are so incredibly special to each and every person that comes, with kids. We are in just a beautiful setting. And how does the setting that we're in, how does that enhance the experience? Laurie?
Yeah, I would agree. The park setting is fantastic. Just across the road, we have Hidden Creek Park East, which used to be known as 53rd Avenue Community Park. And that park also has so many wonderful amenities, from all of the sports courts, the really large splash pad, and also the artificial turf fields. And just north of there, we have Esperanza Nueva, the new affordable housing community. Jumping back across this side of 53rd Avenue, we of course have Hidden Creek Community Center right in this park's backyard, and that's a hub of all access programming. And there's also room for the Future Aquatics Center between that community center and our park here. And then there's just this fantastic park itself, including these wonderful trees right behind us.
Nice. Jen, for you, how does this setting enhance the experience for you and your family?
I love all the natural things that they left in the park, the stumps that they have to sit on, the rocks that you can go find a little corner by yourself and get away. And then, of course, all the beautiful trees that they left here in this park that creates shade and relaxation. It just really gives you an outdoor feel that you're out in the woods and not just in a typical park.
And that is so true, because it does not feel like we are surrounded by houses, roads, or anything else. It really feels like we are in a almost secluded, exclusive playground. I love that. Robby.
Yeah, I would add too, the nice thing about this park as well is just the central location in Hillsboro. It's right smack in the middle. It truly is a community park for everybody to enjoy. And then just the beauty that both Jen and Laurie talked about. It's hard to beat just the beauty of these trees and the campus setting that we have here at Hidden Creek Park West.
So Laurie, as we've talked about Hidden Creek Park West being our first fully inclusive playground and park, that's a term that we hear, inclusivity, inclusive. We hear that a lot. We may bring our own meanings to it, but, from your perspective and as the park, development, project manager, what does that term mean?
Yeah, really good question, because I think some of the terminology can get just a little bit confusing. Of course, all of our parks are designed to be ADA compliant, but ADA compliant really just deals with the physical world and removing barriers in that aspect, whereas inclusive design takes into account not only physical, but also all sorts of abilities, including sensory and intellectual. And so the intention of this park and inclusive playground design in general is just that all sorts of kids, all different abilities, everyone can play together side by side, regardless of age, ability.
Nice.
Yeah.
And Laurie, you mentioned, the difference, between one that is fully designed, for inclusivity as opposed to having components of that. But also we have neighborhood and community parks. And could you maybe differentiate those two terms as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are here in a community park, and community parks are typically larger in size, and they have amenities that are designed to attract people from a larger geographic area. So there could be a skate park or some artificial turf fields, or in this particular case, a really nice playground. And neighborhood parks are typically smaller in size and are really just designed for the local neighbors to walk to. So there might be looped walking paths or benches or a smaller sort of playground. Some of the other inclusive elements in the park that I'd like to highlight include a roll-up elevated sand table at our sand and water feature, so kids in wheelchairs can roll right up to the heart of the action. There's also an embankment slide that's built into a hill slide, so instead of having to climb up to the top of a slide like you normally would, anyone can wheel or get to the top of this slide and enjoy that. We have a very stable surfacing in the playground. We have artificial turf that's built for playgrounds specifically, and that's a much more stable surface than our usual wood chips. We also have a really cool communications board, and kids who are nonverbal can go over and point to how they're feeling or what they want to play on. There's a lot of different icons here. And then you can also learn how to sign language a few things or speak some Spanish.
Nice, thank you. And Jen, as the mom of two elementary age boys, what does having this inclusive and accessible park mean for you and, by extension, other families in Hillsboro?
Well, I have to say, the huge one for me is having this park be completely fenced in. It gives me and other parents and caregivers a sense of security and protection for our kids so that we can sit back and relax a little bit and know that they're going to be safe. And then And it's such a huge area for them to play that they don't feel caged in. They get to go explore and have so much fun and not even realize that there's a fence around them.
And, with the coloring of the fence, it blends in. And so, not only is it a large area, but you don't, as you mentioned, you don't get that feeling of being fenced in.
Yeah. It's very aesthetically pleasing.
It is, and as you mentioned, just as a parent, to be able to know that your kids are safe and you don't have to watch them every single second is huge.
Priceless.
Yeah. So, Robby, what does it mean to the community as a whole to have this park here?
This is something that Hillsboro's been thinking about for a long time, going back to the Hillsboro 2020 visioning plan and 2035 plan. We've been talking about this. Our city council has prioritized diversity, equity, and inclusion for many years, and this park really fits in nicely with all of that. I remember a few years ago, Dave Militich, the Parks and Recreation Director, and I came and walked this site. This has been something that Dave has been championing for several years, and so him, the park staff, this has been something that everybody has wanted, and it's thrilling to be able to get to a point where we can deliver this for the community.
Very nice. Thank you. So how did we get to be so fortunate to have this park? Because at some point, somebody had an idea, and we began to work through the whole process. How did we start in order to get here?
Yeah, a lot of planning went into it over several years, and a lot of planning from staff. Laurie and those that work with her, Dave Militich, who I mentioned previously, and all the previous city councils, current city council, Parks and Recreation commissions. This has been a priority for a long time, and so the idea that we've been able to build on this, especially during a pretty trying time over the past few years, and deliver this for the community, that's kind of where it all started. It came from the community, it came from our city councils and our Parks and Rec commissions, and so it's great to be able to have it open now.
So, I know that there were, again, initial conversations, and somebody helps plant that seed because Hillsboro, we listen. And so, Laurie, when, and our listening is strategic and purposeful and designed. And so how did you engage with the community to be able to hear what was desired and wanted and needed for this park?
Yeah, one of the key things we did early on was we developed a public advisory committee, and that committee included Jen over here, and it was made up of people in our community that have disabilities or are caregivers of people with disabilities or work for and advocate for those with disabilities. And so they gave us so much valuable input that really had a significant impact on this park design, and that was one way that we engaged the public. We also held some online surveys, and over 200 people responded to those. So that was a really good turnout for us. And yes, just made all of the difference.
Nice. Well, and I remember when the call went out, for community involvement, and you would have, read it, heard it at the same time. And what did that make you think when you heard about, the opportunity to be a part of this?
Oh, I was just so excited and thrilled to have something in our backyard practically. We live just blocks down the street, and not everybody gets to have a park quite as amazing as this. So I was just ecstatic to be a part of this. And at first I thought, oh man, this is a huge project. This is going to take years and years, and my kids are probably going to be outgrown. But once I got on the committee and I saw their planning, I saw that this was a park that my kids and my family can enjoy for many, many years to come and never outgrow.
Wonderful. And truly, whether you are a child or a child at heart, it is a place where we can come and enjoy it. So Laurie, from the beginning, I think of all the obstacles and the challenges that you had. Robby mentioned the pandemic, and then we had inflation. We had logistical supply, chain issues, on and on and on. But when we were here at the grand opening, was there anything that you just took away as, just a major victory, a major accomplishment in that whole process?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, there were so many challenges, and I would have to say so many victories. Some of the people that helped me along the way, I just have to give them a shout out. My very talented consulting team, MIG, they are just very well-known leaders in the world of inclusive play and design. My contractors had a very great attention to detail and care, and really wanted to make sure that this park vision came to life. One of the key challenges that we worked hard to turn into a victory was just working with these magnificent trees and trying to really reduce construction impact. It's a lot easier to design in an open field, but I think, these trees just provide so much, as Jenna's already talked about, the habitat, the setting, the shade. And so we just got very creative with our design team. We worked with arborists, and we got, some very nice detailed work for some of the play equipment, moving that around, like even down to locating individual fence posts. And just, these small little details just add up to a very unique park.
Very nice. And you're right. It is the little details that make a big difference. Some other folks who made a big difference, Robby, were those who helped fund the park, because it is a significant financial commitment on the part of the city, but also on the part of some of our partners. And could you speak to that?
Absolutely. This park, as mentioned, was being planned and built during the pandemic. Costs were kind of going crazy. And so when we got a housing and urban development grant from the federal government, and that was championed by Representative Suzanne Bonamici, by Senator Jeff Merkley, and we just really appreciated it. That was $3 million that was contributed. So that made a huge impact on our park. We also had a lot of community members and businesses that contributed and donated to the park, which was amazing. And then combining those funds with our parks system development charges, that's how we were able to come up with the funding and kind of overcome those obstacles to build this park.
Very good. And as we hear behind us, some more of the happy sound of the kids at play. And and I do want to again acknowledge our local champions, if you will, as well as Senator Merkley and Congresswoman Bonamici. One of the fun things about the park is that we are in the flight pattern of the Hillsboro Airport, and it is so fun as a plane flies overhead and you see children point up to the sky. It is it's just one more opportunity for kids to learn and to play. One of the other things that as we mentioned, designers and community members, our funders being important partners. Also, every voter in Hillsboro, every resident in Hillsboro is an important partner. When we pass our levy, that helps pay for fire and police, but also for parks maintenance. And so everyone who lives in Hillsboro is a partner in supporting and paying for this. And so we are very grateful for all of those who live here in Hillsboro for their role. I want to talk a little bit about Oro, who's behind us, the big friendly forest giant. And when I saw the initial drawings, for Oro, then to see what Oro is like in real life in the full scale, it's awesome, it's overwhelming, and the pictures just don't begin to do it justice. So tell us a little bit about Oro and how we were fortunate enough to have Oro here in Hillsboro.
Great question. Oro is the result of some of that wonderful community input that we talked about a little bit ago, combined with some very talented designers of Earthscape. And so way back in 2020, early on in the design process, we asked the community what sort of park they wanted to see. We gave them 3 different themes, and the public overwhelmingly chose Woods Gone Wild as their favorite theme, inspired no doubt by these trees right behind us. And so we were, with that mission from the community, we thought about how to make that a reality, and Oro is the most obvious manifestation of Woods Gone Wild here. And then to further engage the community, we also asked all the kids, what should we name Oro, or what should we name the friendly forest giant at that point? And we got over 400 submissions, and then the community got to vote on the top 3, and they selected Oro, which means gold in Spanish.
Nice. And again, you can see the golden hue, with him as well. And what I love is that Oro, the name was suggested by a 4-year-old, and they made their name suggestion there in the suggestion box at Shark.
Yes.
And so it truly, from the through all components and all aspects, it was designed with children in mind. And then the feature of the park was named by a child. So I just love that. As we think about, the emphasis on kids and childhood play, thinking back to your own childhood or your kids' childhood. Why is it so important to provide this kind of place where kids can play, where they can experience, the wonder, the joy, and the delight of in the best of childhood? And Jen, you're closest to that with your boys.
Yes. I think this park really has that wow factor that not many places do. And they can just come here and dive into that imagination and really experience something that they can't experience at any other park. And this is a park and a place that I think my boys and many other families will look back as a huge part of their childhood.
Yeah, nice. Laurie.
Yeah, I will echo what Jen said. Whenever you have something that sparks your creativity and imagination and allows you to be very present in the magic of the moment, that's just, a gift for our community, for everyone to enjoy, child and adult.
Very good, yes.
I would just add, this is an iconic park. Oro is an iconic play structure that people, when they see it, they're going to think of Hillsboro. Kids are going to think of this as they get older and they grow. They'll think of Oro as they do that. These pictures of Oro are already all over the region, and people are going to think of Hillsboro when they see it. And then I would just add too, similar to what Jen and Laurie said, it's so important for kids to be able to get out and challenge themselves. This is a park that you can do that. They can come in here, they can challenge themselves, get exercise, get together, be with other kids and families, and that's what we aim for.
And to be able to do this as we've come out of COVID and the pandemic, to give kids this place to play and socialize, because we know how much we miss that as adults. We miss that for our kids when we couldn't be around each other for play, for fun times, for imagination and pretend. And so I'm just so delighted, that coming out of the pandemic, we're able to provide this. And, one of the things that I've noticed as I have been here is nobody is on their electronic devices unless it's to take a picture of their child. But kids are playing, and grown-ups are engaged in watching the kids at play. And so it really is just an opportunity to let go of those other things that tend to distract us and take our attention. And so I just, again, like all of you, couldn't be more proud of Hillsboro for having this park, and couldn't be more grateful to you and others who were a part of this. And we're also grateful to those of you who joined, and we encourage you to come down to Hidden Creek Park West and enjoy Oro, the friendly forest giant, and add to your memories of Hillsboro's parks. Thank you so much for joining us for this month's edition of Community Conversations.